When people talk about resetting the nervous system, they often mean they want to feel calmer and clearer and less reactive. But a true reset is actually about closing stress loops, not eliminating stress altogether. Today, I'm going to be breaking down what a nervous system reset actually is from a scientific perspective, what can get in the way of the nervous system reset, and a quick and real and easy plan that you can integrate into your daily life in less than 30 minutes a day to help reset your nervous system. Firstly, we need to understand what your nervous system is actually doing all day. So it's typically moving between three states. One is mobilization. This is going to show up as your fight or flight response. This is that survival mechanism. The second is immobilization, which can be a freeze or a collapse response. And a third is going to be your social interaction, which is a secure connection. Now, it's important to understand that these are not moods that are changing. They are actual physiological states. My guess is that if you're watching this video, you know you already need some nervous system work, but I want you to understand how you got here. So how does this accumulate so that we get to a point where we actually need a nervous system reset? Well, here is the toll that daily life can take. Cognitive load, sensory load, emotional data, social input, and stress hormones. If these loads don't get metabolized, then the system stays active even after the stressor has ended. And that's what I mean by learning to close stress loops, not eliminating stress altogether. Some common things I hear my therapy clients say to me when I know they need a nervous system reset or they need help closing stress loops is that they are really tired, but they have trouble falling asleep, or they feel wired, like their brain is still on. The other thing is that they may feel tense for no reason, like their body and brain are disconnected. So they're feeling things in their body, but logically or mentally, they're not connected to it. I often attribute this to that statement of anxiety of like, physically I feel anxious, but cognitively I know I'm safe. There is an open stress loop. There is a miscommunication happening in the body and brain. I want to take a moment to discuss what a nervous system reset is and what it isn't, so you can be clear and have the right expectations. A reset is not about forcing calm. It's not about eliminating or ignoring stress, and it's not about suppressing activation or emotions that are showing up. A reset is completing the biological stress cycle, starting to shift states in the body, sending safety cues to the nervous system through behavior, and helping your system return to baseline. And this reset is happening through body-based cues, not through mindset or cognitive shifts. Now, I need you to understand what gets in the way of a nervous system reset so that we can make sure we are not doing these things. Resets are blocked by three main things. One is no transition time. This might look like going from work to home to a task to sleeping, all without ever processing. So it's that go, go, go. It's this constant to here, to there, to this, to that, next, next, next. The second thing is continuous input. Screens, notifications, noise, to-do lists. There's no empty space, essentially. There's no capacity to actually feel, process, be present. The third thing is misplaced regulation attempts. So you're trying to reset through thinking, rumination, planning, being proactive, analyzing, and reflecting, instead of actually turning into the body, the physiology. Don't get me wrong, that mindset work is important, but it can't be everything. Once you understand these blockers, the daily plan I'm going to teach you will make more sense. So make sure you're really clear on them. Go back and listen if you need. The daily nervous system reset is built around three windows of time: morning, midday, and evening. And it's intended to be able to integrate seamlessly into your life as long as you can do so with intention. And it requires consciousness. It is work, right? We get into this state of like everything should be easy. It's not. I tell this to my clients a lot. When we do work on ourselves, when we want to grow, change, evolve, we want to have a different outcome than we currently are receiving, we must do things differently. And that will require effort. but I have tried to simplify it and make it as easy as possible to bring into your life so that there are limited barriers to entry. Now I'm gonna write out each step for morning, midday, and evening on the screen so you can take a screenshot if that feels helpful. You can also write it down if you're more of a pen and paper kind of person, but I'm going to go through the goal and then the steps that happen during that time period, breaking it down first morning, then midday, then evening. All right, let's get into it. All right, diving into our morning reset, this is going to take no more than 5 minutes. The primary goal is to set the cortisol curve. Remember, cortisol is your stress hormone, and to orient your nervous system. So step 1 is going to be light exposure. You're going to open your blinds or step outside if you can. Remember that light tells the brain it's daytime. This is going to become the anchor for your cortisol rhythm. Now, there are manufactured lights that mimic the sun. If you wake up at a time where there is no sun and that is actually your daytime, or if you live in a basement like I did for a really long time and it's super cold so you actually don't want to go outside, I do recommend it if you can, but there are other options. So blinds, stepping outside, or manufactured lights that actually simulate the sun. Make sure you get the right ones. The reason this is so important is because light hitting the retina signals the SCN, which is your suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is what regulates your circadian rhythm and starts the downstream of your hormones. So a lot of physiological processes are happening as a result of this. Everything is intentional, remember that. That's going to take no more than 2 minutes, okay? Step 2 is orientation, 30 to 60 seconds max. Let your eyes move around the room or your environment. Now, if you can, I specifically want you to do this exercise where you land your gaze on 5 different objects at different distances. Now, don't just look and be like, lamp, and then move to the next thing and be like, water bottle. I want you to look at it and think about it in detail. So the lamp I'm looking at is turned off. The shade is tan. It's about 5 feet tall. The post is black. Really get descriptive. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but be present and be aware. Not only does this help ground you, but it reduces the implicit threat scanning that can occur throughout your day, which is essentially lowering your hypervigilance. So that threat detection system, we've talked about this in other videos, that is what we're trying to proactively support by doing this exercise. Okay, last step, step 3, is protein and hydration. 60 to 90 seconds here. We want to stabilize your blood sugar because it prevents adrenaline compensation later on in your day. Try to get some form of protein into your body early on and hydrate. I, as a chronic illness girly, love warm tea. It really flushes out your system to have first thing in the morning, but we'll take any form of hydration and protein, okay? So I want you to take a moment, maybe pause this video, really think about how you can implement this or set this up into your morning routine. Remember, it's literally maximum 5 minutes and you're gonna notice a big shift. Next up, we have the midday reset. This one's slightly longer. It may take about 5 to 10 minutes because our goal here is to reduce any accumulated activation so far. It's really important that we don't go the whole day building up this stress and activation. We need to give dedicated time to release it. So again, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Let's go through the steps. Step 1 is physical mobilization. 2 to 3 minutes, okay? You have some options here. This could look like a brisk walk, going up and down the stairs, shaking out your arms and legs, doing some hip mobility work. We hold a lot in our hips. Mobilization completes stress cycles that would otherwise stay stuck. Now, I want you to think about what's accessible. Obviously, I'm always gonna be like, go outside, get some more sunlight, do your walk, do your stairs. But think about what's possible for you. If you're at an office job and you don't have a lot of time, maybe you're shaking out your arms and legs while you're in your cubicle. Maybe you're doing some hip stretches in the bathroom while you go on your break. Think about how you can start to incorporate physical mobilization through your body midday. Step number 2 is to downshift. I want you to hear that, downshift, 2 to 3 minutes here. You need to shift the state that you're in. Now, Every day is going to be different. Some days this will be or feel more important than others, but it's important to keep consistency. So you're going to do it anyways. You want to switch to paced breathing. Again, just for like 2 minutes. You may inhale for 4, exhale for 6 or longer. This is shifting our nervous system into a parasympathetic state, which is the state of rest or digest. It's also signaling to our nervous system that we feel safe. So again, you're going to inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 6 or longer. You want to do that for 8 to 12 cycles. The long exhale shifts the autonomic tone. That's what I just explained to you, okay? So if you do not feel like you have time or space to do this, I promise you, you can make time or space. You have to prioritize it. I remember when I was in back-to-back lectures in school, I would actually go to the bathroom and do this in a bathroom stall. Step number 3, the last one for midday, is sensory reduction. 1 to 2 minutes here. You need to remove input temporarily. Take your AirPods out. Close your eyes or even just soften your gaze. Try to minimize the amount of sound you're hearing. 1 or more of these are great because it gives the system an input break. It's not a sedation attempt, right? We're not trying to numb or remove everything. We're just trying to calm and release, really just restore some peace, if you will, to the system. Now, I promise you 1 to 2 minutes is all you need to just downregulate. You can combine this, right, with steps 2 if you feel like that's possible. Take your AirPods out, try to get into a space with minimal sound, close your eyes, soften your gaze, do those breaths. Immediately, that reduces how much time you need to actually do this because you're combining them together. Our evening reset is a little bit longer. It's about 10 to 15 minutes, but I promise you, you can make time for it. Start to think about where and how you're going to incorporate it because our goal here is to now actually close any of the stress loops that occurred throughout the day and also prepare for parasympathetic dominance, which is how we can actually rest. So my friends who are saying, oh, my brain is wired, like I have trouble falling asleep, this is for you. Let's dive into our steps. Step number 1, externalize your cognitive load. This can take anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. So you're actually going to write down, and I mean physically write down any cognitive load that you're experiencing. So these are the open loops, the tasks for tomorrow, the reminders, concerns that may require action later. This is not emotional journaling, it's cognitive offloading so that more working memory can get freed up. This is really important for us to be able to shift into that parasympathetic state. Step number 2 is that sensory downshift. Here's that word again, right? Sensory downshift. 3 to 5 minutes this is gonna take. Turn down your lights, your sound, your screen brightness, your pace, and I mean that literally. Walk slower, do things slower, slow everything down. The goal is predictability and low stimulation. This is how we start to shift the state of the nervous system. The more you do this, so the more consistency you have with this as part of your wind down, your evening routine, the better your body will respond to it. So this does take a little bit of time. You're going to need to do it for several days, weeks, if you will, hopefully forever. But the intention here is that it becomes predictable and you're shifting into low stimulation, which is going to be a pattern your nervous system will start to recognize over time. Step number 3 is the parasympathetic cue. This is going to be about 3 to 5 minutes, and there's some options here as well. Gentle stretching, a warm shower, heat application, slow rocking, diaphragmatic breathing, similar to what we might have done in step 2, but you can change up like the breathing pattern, if you will, but you want to breathe into your belly, that's the point. Humming or long exhales. Heat and compression work really well for many people because they mimic natural safety cues from the body evolutionarily, but it's completely up to you what feels best for you. But this is going to be a behavior body-based cue that your nervous system will begin to associate with wind down, with sleep. Now that I've given you the plan and hopefully you feel like it's possible to begin to incorporate, I did just explain to you that it takes a little bit of time. So I want to go through what you can expect in the next 3 to 7 days if you do this every single day. Most people notice better sleep, less evening tension, fewer adrenaline jolts throughout the day and at night, improved focus, especially midday when we all start to decline typically, less cognitive clutter at night. And this is not because stress disappeared, but because you learned to complete the stress cycles instead of accumulating them. Remember that a nervous system reset is not a single technique, but rather an ongoing sequence that supports you prioritizing your physiology first. When your body gets opportunities to consistently discharge stress and return to baseline, everything else becomes easier and more workable. If you'd like more nervous system education, inner child work, and healing, don't forget to subscribe. I put new videos out every Wednesday and Sunday, as well as daily content on TikTok and Instagram and here on YouTube Shorts at Christina.DeFranco on my other social platforms. Thank you so much for being here. If this video helps you, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to return in 3 to 7 days. Let me know how your experience has been if you tried this out. Thank you so much for watching. I have more information in the description box down below if you'd like additional resources. And as always, if you have questions or would like specific content, please feel free to add it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.